There has been a new development on this story which came out a few days ago. You may have seen this. Rotherham grooming gang who plied girls as young as 11 with drugs and alcohol before raping them are jailed for a total of 106 years. I was very, very pleased to see this story. It seems like the courts and the police are starting to take action on this horrendous thing that goes on. The grooming gangs have gone on for so many years with very little being done about them. So this was a good step in the right direction, and I was glad to see this. However, GB News have revealed a new part of this story. They managed to do an exclusive on this. Let's take a look at what has developed. So they found out that the judge ordered that the grooming gang survivor, one of the grooming gang survivors that read out a very moving statement in court, they demanded that she had to remove part of her statement. Now, what was that part of her statement? Well, Robert Jenrick was very outraged about this before we get on to what exactly was removed. And he said victims will not be silent. So what did she have to say in her statement that was so contentious that the judge had to insist that it be removed? Well, let's have a little look at some of the detail. So she said in the censor conclusion, if you look in the middle of this here, I'd like to request that after sentencing and upon Rudy and Shoaib's release, that they should be deported back to Pakistan, as this is where they originated from and came here to exploit children. Thank you. So they insisted that this be removed. Now, what was their justification? The barrister Matthew Bean, acting for the Crown, said, whether they, the abusers, remain in this country or not is up to the Home Office, and the decision should happen regardless of what the victim should say one way or another. Now, I understand the argument that this victim, she's giving her evidence for the case. She's not there to decide what the sentencing should be and what the Home Office should do with them. But I think that she has a right to put in a sentence or so at the end of her statement of how she thinks these men should deserve to be dealt with. Because she is someone who is going to either feel safe or not safe, depending on how these men are dealt with. If these men are left after they serve their sentences to go back into the community and to roam the streets freely, she's going to feel unsafe. If she's older now, this was many years ago, she may have children, she may worry about her daughter, she may worry about the other young girls in the area. And I think that what she had to say was particularly important because I remembered this story from earlier this year that I saw in the Telegraph. So in Rochdale, the previous case that we were looking at there from the court was a girl in Rotherham, but there are also horrendous grooming gangs in Rochdale. And I remember this story. Rochdale grooming gang leader still lives alongside victims despite deportation order. So this guy remains in the city 9 years after the sex offender was stripped of British citizenship. So he doesn't have British citizenship, but he's still hanging around, and he's not, at least had the decency to go move somewhere else and leave the girls that he originally raped and abused alone so that they can live in peace. Oh no, just still lives right in the community there with them. I mean, I would be terrified if I was one of those girls. So I just want to show you some of the detail of this case of these guys living in the community. Well, what did these guys do? So this guy, Kari Abdul Rauf, 54, was part of a 9-strong gang of Asian men convicted of sex offences against vulnerable girls in 2012. Up to 47 girls as young as 12 were plied with alcohol and drugs and gang raped in Rochdale during a 2-year reign of terror. I mean, absolutely vile. I cannot think of anything worse. Now, he was jailed for 6 years, but he was released early. Oh, what a surprise. In November 2014, after serving 2 years and 6 months of his sentence. If you ask me, 2 years and 6 months for gang raping up to 47 girls as young as 12, that ain't enough. He should be there for life, if you ask me. But anywho, he was let out, and Theresa May, who was the Home Secretary at the time, said that he needs to be sent back to Pakistan. Fair enough, if you ask me, but oh no. Because that would breach his human rights, wouldn't it? So he was able to draw this out and his other gang leader friend as well, fighting the deportation orders, appeal after appeal after appeal on the basis of human rights. So they didn't seem to give a toss about the human rights of those young girls, so I don't see why we should care that much about theirs if you ask me. But anyway, they lost. Actually, the courts and the Home Office did the right thing, and they said, nope, sorry, you're going to have to leave. But they were able to pull another card. They could just resign their Pakistani citizenships. So they got rid of them. No Pakistan citizenship. So they can't go back to Pakistan. They rendered themselves stateless. So now they're still here. They've got no British citizenship. No, but we don't know where to send them. I mean, this is absolutely bonkers. We just cannot deport anybody in this country, no matter how crazy what they do is. And so I think it's important to bring up this case to show why that girl, she wasn't saying something bonkers. She made a very, very important point, because she probably knows about this case and she probably feels very sorry and very scared for the young girls that still have to live in the community with these guys in Rochdale, and she doesn't want the same to be happening in Rotherham. This poor town has been ignored and ignored for decades on this stuff. Seems like they're finally starting to get a bit of a voice, but still, it is an uphill battle with people trying to silence them. It is absolutely disgusting. So I'm not happy about the court for silencing this young girl, and well done to GB News for exposing it. I'm Chloe Dobbs. This has been another video for Reason. Make sure you are subscribed to our channel and you press the notification bell, you know the drill, so that you do not miss any of our good videos. I will see you guys very soon, and we will see you tomorrow, Wednesday, for the Reason podcast.